Today we're going to be talking about area, which is not anything new, but we're going to do a little review here, and then we're going to move into talking about area as it involves fractions and mixed numbers. So how do you find area of a rectangle? So area is length times width, okay? So, and we multiply simply, okay? What is area? Well, if you remember, let's just make a little square here. Area is the amount of squares that can cover the inside of a shape. And the size of the squares change depending on whether you're measuring with centimeters or with inches or with feet, okay? So what you're looking to see is you're looking to see the shape of the inside of your rectangle, and you're looking to see how many squares will fit inside. And you can make those squares by drawing lines in one direction and then across in the other, okay? And that will give you your number of squares. Now, how do you know how many lines to draw? Well, that's where this comes in, okay? That's where we look at the length and the width. So if I have 5 inches here, it tells me I'm going to have a line every 5 inches, okay? So it's going to be divided into 5 sections, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then the same thing this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you might say, well, but that's a square, not a rectangle. But remember, a square is a special rectangle, okay? But that's another lesson from another day. So here's your square. 5 times 5 is going to give you an area of 25, okay? So that means that 25 squares that are each, if you look, it's being measured in inches, that are each an inch. So it would be 25 inches, but it's not going to be 25 regular inches. It's going to be 25 inches squared. And so we're going to put this little 2 in the top corner of where you have the inches written. So it's a small 2 that goes in the top corner of where the inches is written. So it's 25 square inches. And one of the ways that I remember that you're supposed to have a number 2 here is that when I find area, I'm multiplying 2 numbers, length times width. Okay, so for this rectangle, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have 9 sections going this way, crossed by 3 sections going that way. So what you're going to end up with for the area of that rectangle is you're going to end up with 9 times 3, which is 27. And it's being measured in centimeters. So it's going to be 27 centimeters. And it's not regular centimeters because this is area. So it's going to be 27 centimeters square with a little 2. Okay? So that's how we do area. Now, how does that apply to fractions? Okay? Well, if you're dealing with fractions, remember that a fraction is a part. So you're still going to find area by multiplying length times width. So if my length is 3/4 and my width is 2/5, I'm going to multiply 3/4 times 2/5 to find my area. But remember, we have this word of when we're multiplying. We're finding 3/4 of 2/5. So we're actually finding a small piece of the area. So we're finding a fraction of it. So if we have 3/4 of the total area here, we're finding what 2/5 of that amount is. So kind of similar to what we do when we're dividing decimals is that we look at where these overlap. So what you'll see here is 3/4 of the whole square was colored in this way. It was divided into 4 and 3 rows were colored in green. And then this way it was divided into fifths, okay, so into 5 rows. And 2 of those 5 rows are colored in. So if you look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just like we did when we multiplied decimals, 6 of those total squares are colored in. And when we made 5 going this way and 3 going this way, we have 20 total squares now. So our answer is going to be 6/20. So 3/4 of 2/5 will be 6/20. Now, that might sound complicated, but remember, we've already done multiplication. So really, we're just multiplying fractions here. 3 times 2 is 6, and then 4 times 5 is 20. Okay, so we have 6/20. And then, you know, you would have to take that answer and put it into simplest form. So 6/20 in simplest form. Well, both 6 and 20 can be divided by 2. So that's going to be 3/10 in simplest form. Okay. All right. So here we have a rectangle that's 4/10 by 5/8. And this one is not cut into squares, so we're not going to worry about coloring and drawing in squares. We're just going to go ahead and multiply. We've got 5/8, so area is length times width, 5/8 times 4/10, okay? And we're just going to multiply. 5 times 4 is 20, and 8 times 10 is 80. So that's a big number. Okay, that definitely can be put into simplest form because both of those numbers are even. So I could divide them both by 2 and keep dividing, or I could see whatever number they share. I know I can divide them both by 5, so I could give that a try. Divide them both by 5, which is what I said I was going to do. So let me put a little 5 in there. If I divide them both by 5, I get 4/14. But I do notice here that 4 and 14 are both even, so I know I can divide them by 2. So 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. So my simplest form is 2/7. Now, 2/7 what? 2/7 inches. Okay, so we got to remember to label when we're doing area. And inches what? Inches squared, because area is measured in squares. All right, and then this one here, you have 4/5 times 3 1/4, so you have a mixed number here. So you're still going to multiply to find your area. Just remember that when you're multiplying a mixed number in an improper fraction, you need to turn, or a fraction, you need to turn your mixed number into an improper fraction before you can multiply. To turn an improper fraction into a mixed number, we multiply these two numbers, the denominator by the whole number. So 4 times 3 is 12. And then we add the numerator, plus 1 is 13. So that's where my 13 came from, and my denominator stays the same. So 13/4, and then we multiply that by 4/5. So in the top, we do 13 times 4. So we're going to get 52. In the bottom, we do 4 times 5, which is going to be 20. And then we're going to need to turn that back into a mixed number. So we're going to do top divided by bottom. So how many groups of 20 can we make out of 52? Well, I can make 2 groups of 20, which would be 40. And I'm going to have 12/20 left over. And then I would have to put that 12/20 into simplest form. Both 12 and 20 can be divided by 4, so my final answer is going to be 2 3/5. And remember, when we're dealing with area, we are measuring, so we have to label 2 3/5 feet. And because it's area, it's going to be feet squared with a little 2 in the top corner over here. All right, awesome. So there are 2 more, oh, I'm sorry, there's just 1 more. There's 1 more example here. I would like you to go ahead and make this your problem of the day. All right, I would like you to find the area of this rectangle and bring the measurement of that area with you to your centers today. Go ahead and pause and figure that out now.